Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about ways to optimize your Catholic dating profiles. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritui Sancti, secutora in principio et nunc et semper in saecula saeculorum. Amen. I have a couple of videos here on dating. I have one, should you date non-Catholics, for example. I have another one that says 2 mistakes that people make on their dating profile when they're on Match or eHarmony. This one is specific to Catholic sites, so Catholic Mingles or Catholic Match, or these that are Catholic specific. Now, this episode might offend some people, and of course it's not my intention to offend you. I think there's a couple of type of people that go to Catholic specific sites. I think it's those who are very specific and they want a Catholic person, typically a traditionalist, maybe a Latin Rite or a Latin Mass person. And the other one is just people, and again, I don't mean to offend, and this is completely out of charity, that maybe aren't having luck in normal interactions and on regular Match, eHarmony, and so forth. And so my impression of Catholic Match or Catholic whatever, fill in the blank, is that it's a lot of people, not a lot, okay, let me be clear. It's people that haven't had luck. And I think their idea is, well, I have this deficiency, but it'll be overlooked because I'm on a Catholic site, and they're going to see me for the good heart that I am, the good Catholic I am, and the good personality I have. Now, in some ways, this is very Disney thinking. We have that episode on how romance has destroyed marriage. And I think it's misconstrued. Look, I was an overweight child, very overweight. I'll see if I can throw a picture of me on this episode. And back when I was in high school watching John Hughes movies, I actually thought, a girl was going to like me for my good personality, my good heart. But it just doesn't work like that. And I would notice, I was morbidly overweight, but all my celebrity crushes, like Elizabeth Shue, were all regular weight. So why would I expect a woman to like me if all my crushes were regular weight? So I think there's a couple of things here. So women who maybe are older or maybe not in the best shape, you have to understand that these are still dating sites and that men still are looking for the same things. Men are wired for looks. We know this. It's human nature. Then they'll look at virtue and other qualities that you have, but they're going to look at that. So, that is something to take into consideration. Also, men of your age typically are going to be looking at younger women. Again, this is the way it's been since time immemorial. So if you're a 45-year-old woman, don't be looking at 45-year-old men, because those men are going to be looking at 38-year-old women. If you're a 45-year-old woman, be messaging 52-year-old men, because men always want to be with younger women. It's just the way we're wired. Men, understand women. Women are wired for hypergamy. Now, a lot of women don't even understand or know this term, but it's intrinsically wired in them as much as gravity is in the world. So what's hypergamy? Hypergamy is the need for women to optimize their mate by the highest man that they can get in terms of status and provisioning. This goes back to our Paleolithic wiring. So back in the day, women, of course, were very vulnerable, and they were frequented by predation, by sexual assault, what we would call today, by predators like the saber-toothed tiger and so forth. And so by nature, they would gravitate toward men that could hunt, that could provide protection to them and so forth, what we call like the alpha male. Because if they were to be with a cripple or an older man, if the sheetrock hits the fan, so to speak, that man couldn't fend off these things. So it's in a woman's wiring to want to be with the highest status man that she can get. And you can take the woman out of the Paleolithic era, the woman out of the cave. You can't take the cave out of the woman. So women are still wired for this. So even though we live in a modern world where women are working and women can provide for themselves, the wiring and need for security and provisioning has not changed. And so hypergamy is essentially the concept of women will move their way up and try to be with the highest status man, which is typically translated as to the wealthiest man that they can get, even if they're already wealthy. Okay, so men lots of times will come to Catholic Match or Catholic sites and complain that maybe they're not the richest or the best looking. These women will not really give them a time of day. Again, you're thinking that they're going to pick you for your great personality or whatever, but you have to understand women are wired the way they are, men are wired the way they are. You could argue that both are superficial in their own way. Men are wired to look at beauty first, youth, fertility, and women are looking for, and it's not callous to say this, but provisioning. So what can you do about this? Well, for men, you can work on your 6/6s. So if you know that women are wanting men that can provide for them or satiate that need for provisioning protection, then make more money. If you make money, demonstrate it on your photos or put it in the profile. Okay? If you're not in the best shape, work on your shape. Work on your financial health. Work on your psychological health. Purge your demons, your childhood traumas. These are things that you can change and you can get better quality. Women, unfortunately, it's all about the looks. But again, you can lose weight and so forth. And like newsflash to you women, guys can tell which pictures are new, which ones are not as new on your dating profile. So certainly you can't age Father Time, but like I said, message older men, and I think that would work for you. But understand, if any of you are disillusioned with the Catholic sites, understand there's still dating sites. It is an old phrase, you can't negotiate sexual attraction. And for men, sexual attraction is different, right? We look at the woman, she's attractive. For women, they're willing to forego looks for other qualities. Wit, because it's a sign of high IQ, of course height, and of course what you do, right? No money, no honey. Now, the problem with women judging men on their occupation is that lots of times men have money that you won't know based on their occupation, and they're able to do that occupation because they have money, whether it be a side gig, whether it be family money, whether it be a trust and so forth. So I would warn you women that if you see a guy who's a policeman or a teacher or a data clerk, don't automatically assume he doesn't have money. That's my recommendation to you. And guys, my recommendation to you is, I know it's hard, but don't be so shallow. OkCupid tracks that stat that regardless of what the man's age, he's always looking at 23-year-olds on OkCupid. So if you're a 40-year-old man, I mean, look, I understand you might search 30, 35. Don't be looking at 21-year-olds. And certainly if you're 60 years old, don't be trying to hit up the 21-year-olds. Only super celebrities can do things like that, like Dennis Quaid, who's like 73 and has a 27-year-old wife. So guys, these are my tips to you. Again, don't be offended by that. If you really want somebody in your life and you don't want to be a monk or monkess, a nun, then work on your deficiencies. We all know what they are. It can be also that you have children, right? So some people are looking for people who have a clean slate. It can be that you're divorced. That could be seen as a red flag. If somebody divorced you and abandoned you, albeit you tried hard, it could be seen as a red flag. And certainly if you initiated a divorce, that could be seen as a red flag. I would tell you men, you need to be very wary if you meet a woman on Catholic Match or anywhere who's divorced and she initiated a divorce. Women initiate divorce 70 to 90% of the time, and divorces in general. So do they have legitimate reasons? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Let's be real. So if you meet a woman who's already divorced a man, don't be Pollyanna. Think, well, if she's already established the precedent that she has no problems breaking this marital bond and breaking up a family with somebody before me, what makes you think that she won't do it with you? Right? Don't get white-knighted here. The divorce rate of second marriages is 70%. So these are certain red flags too. So I don't want this episode to go too long, but understand, in short, Catholic sites, the 90-10 rule applies there just like on regular ones. 90% of the women are messaging 10% of the men, and 90% of the men are messaging the hottest 10% of the women. So just understand how the other sex thinks, tailor your profile so that have honest pictures. Men be masculine and confident, women be feminine and virtuous. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree, things that I missed. Please hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Share with like-minded people. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.